Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
It's Steve and Alice and Chris Williams. Hi, guys. How are you today?
Hello.
Good. How are you doing?
Well, chocolate hangover.
Oh,
Day after Valentine's Day.
Chocolate hangover.
did you eat the whole box again, Steve?
Yeah, sorry. Lost control. Anyway, it's also President's Day. And one way that you could celebrate President's Day, if you wanted to, is to eat one of your favorite president's favorite foods. For instance, Jimmy Carter's favorite food was goat cheese grits with red-eye gravy, country ham, and a fried egg. I'm going to pass on that. But
That's a good Southern boy right there.
Thomas Jefferson loved Aretha Frankenstein's waffles of insane greatness. Now, could that be true? I don't think so. Roosevelt, he liked whatever was served, the hot dogs. Loved hot dogs. Ulysses S. Grant loved 29 courses at a state dinner and with fortified, quote-unquote, fortified punch. So anyway, interesting things. And I hope and pray that you will pray for our president. That's one thing we can do on President's Day. God doesn't let anybody get elected if he chooses them. No, he doesn't choose them. He allows them. He's the one that's in charge. If he didn't allow them to be in power, they wouldn't be. And so he is the ultimate authority. So let's pray for the people that he's allowed to have some kind of authority. Let's go over to Rose and let's talk with Rose and just get right into our calls. Calling from Boston, Massachusetts, listening on WEZE. Hi, Rose. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call today.
Sure.
I have a kind of a difficult situation. I have a question.
Okay.
I guess it surrounds the mystery of free will and perhaps versus God's will. And the situation in which I am wondering, could this be God's will or was it free will, was that one of my most dearest friends was brutally attacked in his own home Christmas Eve. And 3 weeks ago he died.
Oh my goodness.
So I know it's quite sad and tragic. So I'm very close to his family, and I'm doing the best I can. And the DA's office beautifully has bereavement for these situations, and I think it's a great help. And I think a situation like this brings up the word why
Sure.
a lot. And, and it wouldn't bring my friend back, but, I do love God. And I do ask myself, was this God's will or just free will, of the person who, allegedly committed the crime? And I didn't know if there was any insight.
Well, does it make sense that God would want somebody to be beaten and then eventually die?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Rose, it's one of the things that God hates. And the Bible talks about the things that God hates. And one is innocent blood being shed. God hates what happened to your friend.
Yeah. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
and I wish
Thank you.
it could be different. But he does say he will wipe away every tear, meaning I want to comfort you. But the reality is it's this fallen world we live in outside the garden, and it's tough.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
So sad when we lose things. God has given us a gift. It's the gift of grief, that this grieving process actually separates us from the pain. We don't have to wake up every day and experience that same pain over and over again. Chris, you were saying something at the break I think is important.
Yeah, I just think that it is a mystery. There's smarter people than me that have been trying to figure this out for thousands of years, and that's the problem of evil and how do we reconcile that with God's will. But I think some of it is that we want a reason. It gives us a sense of control over a situation that's out of our control, that's really scary. But I think the key is that we enter into the mystery, but we just don't do that without knowing who is there with us. And I would say that, Isaiah tells us that Jesus, or in prophesying about the Messiah, says that Jesus will be a man acquainted with many sorrows. So as we go into our grief, what I want to do is I want to acquaint myself closely with a man who is acquainted with many sorrows, who's going to lead me in it and lead me through it, and that there is going to be some sort of redemptive plan in and through it, though I may not know what it looks like, and it's certainly plenty of times it won't feel that way.
Yeah, it's good.
And Rose, the ugly reality is that God did allow this horrific murder and loss of your friend, and God is capable of us bringing our upset and anger and frustration and our doubts to him. He wants us to do that. And so if you're feeling angry with God, if this has shaken your faith, that would only make sense because it's not clear why God allowed this to happen. And so, Rose, I hope that you're bringing all of that to some close people there in your circle and letting yourself feel the emotions and lament this inexplicable loss of your friend.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm glad you're there for them. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, I don't even feel. I still tell God I love him every day. I mean, I think he's crying too. I don't feel that anger yet. I don't know. It's just too hard.
Well, when Lazarus died, before he brought him back to life, and he knew he was going to bring him back to life, he still wept for Lazarus. So we know your thought about it. I think God is crying too. I think that's a good chance that is true. I want to send you Healing is a Choice. I think that will be a blessing to you, hopefully to the other people that are going through this with you. And so sorry. I'm glad that you called. I want to go to Linda, Washington, D.C., WAVA. Linda, Steve Arterburn here. How are you? We've got Chris and Alice. How can we help?
Oh, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
I have been listening to New Life Daily Call-In Radio for many years. Thank you for helping me, all the other callers, and all the other radio listeners.
Great.
You're welcome. I have a stay-away order from my husband.
Uh-oh. What did he do? What did he do?
Well, he has severe anger issues, and he goes into rages.
And why do you think he has those anger issues?
From his childhood days and just things that have happened to him in his life, and not due to our marriage, but I will not give in to him.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
so what's the question for us?
Okay, the question is that this stay-away order, I have panic attacks, and I feel that my husband is no longer a threat to me. He has moved out of the house. He's not coming back, but I will continue to pray for myself and as well as for my husband, and I will sow seeds of goodness to him.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
the question is that, would it be okay to dismiss this stay-away order before the hearing date? Because of the pandemic, the courts are backlogged, and it takes months and months now for a hearing, but I do not want to go to a hearing. I'm not going to go, so I just want to dismiss it and just forget about what happened, go on with my life, and just get rid of these severe panic attacks.
Okay, well, let's look at, Chris, maybe you could talk about what would be the negative of dismissing it, and Alice, maybe you could present what might be the benefit if she decided that way, if there is. Chris?
First and foremost, thank you, Steve, because you gave me my own position. No, you should not dismiss the stay-away order, because as long as you get to be your husband's, whether it be verbal or physical or otherwise, punching bag for his unresolved pain, that is the position that you're in. And so the more things don't change, they don't change. Time away is not going to change unless he really, really does a deep dive into understanding his childhood pain and anger and find a really safe and strong place to be able to work through that. Whereas, again, you don't have to be the place where he offloads his pain. And so as long as you're there and as long as he's not doing his work, that's exactly what's going to happen. But Linda, for you, there's something else going on.
Yes.
And that is that you're carrying around inside of you an emptiness. And it really points to people in your life who are supposed to be there for you who left. You're dealing with abandonment. And so who you are apart from those people that left, or who you are or who you believed yourself to be when they left. They left me, mom or dad left me because I'm not good enough, because I'm not important, because I don't matter. When that experience gets deep in us, when it embeds in us, then husband is away from me. Therefore, I don't matter. I'm not important. I'm not good enough. And that becomes the source of your panic attacks. So you're in this double bind, sort of, darned if you do, darned if you don't, if I can say that. And that is, if he's with you, you don't matter in the sense that he can take his anger out on you. If he leaves, you don't matter because you're abandoned. And the work that you need to do, Linda, is deeper work to work through your pain, as well as a deeper connection to yourself. So you have a core that says, nope, I don't accept this behavior anymore.
Alice, can you think of any benefit to her? I mean, Chris has really made a good case to not. Is there any benefit to, or any circumstances under which she would want to dismiss it?
I could see one benefit to not going, and I'll talk about that in a moment. First, I need to find out, Linda, might it be true about you that you have a tendency to avoid facing conflict and facing situations where people will be upset with you?
No, and I've never been abandoned. I come from a very strong religious background with my parents. It's the age that I am a senior lady, and my husband is an elderly man, and I cannot see myself going to court for a hearing. It's just too stressful, and I feel that my husband comes from a very strong spiritual family too, and that the elders in his family will be able to help him.
So, Linda, I think I'm hearing both a yes and a no in answer to my question. You said you're not going to court because, or you prefer not to because it will be too stressful. And if that's
Yes.
the only reason you're not going, I would say don't go then if you only want short-term relief from your anxiety. Because when we stay away from something, because it's too stressful, it does give us relief at that time. But it does not resolve the longer-term anxiety. The resolution of the longer-term anxiety is garnering the strength to continue to face our fears and not to avoid them, and to dig in to find the root. So it might not be abandonment, but there are other roots to your anxiety for which these panic attacks arise. And avoidance is never the long-term answer. It's the short-term relief that prolongs the problem.
I see. And the panic attack, too, is what happened, what he did, but that's the panic attack. But I just want to forget about it, not go to court, stay away from
Linda,
my husband.
Linda, that's such a red flag that you just want to forget about it.
Yeah.
It would be dangerous to forget about what your husband did to you, because if we forget, and we call that forgiveness, which a lot of people do, we tend to walk back into the danger again. And God tells us, this is in Proverbs, that an angry man must face the penalty if we rescue him from the consequence of his rage, even though he's an elderly man. He will act out of his rage again. And that's my fear, that by staying away and by perhaps, I don't know if that would rescue your husband, but I'm worried about that, forgetting how he has treated you is a way of rescuing him and endangering you again.
And your panic attacks, by the way, will not let you forget it. Your panic attacks are important. They're telling you really, really key information about your experience. And so your body is storing those memories, and it's showing up as panic. And so, as Alice was saying, you are perpetuating the problem by and keeping the panic going and alive by trying to forget about it.
I want to share with you one of the worst words in the English language. Are you ready? Hold on.
Yes.
I don't want to upset you. Almost. Almost is a horrible word. I almost went through with it, and he would have had to have gotten help, but I gave up right before that. I almost fulfilled what I knew to be right, but I just got fed up with it. I was too afraid or whatever. I don't want you living in the land of almost. It's a horrible place to live, full of regret. So I really
understand.
I cannot think of any reason to not go forward other than one, is that the chaplain or the pastor or the recovery, the guy running the recovery ministry, and him come over to you and he tells you all about what he's done and what he's going to do to transform his life. He's had some kind of breakthrough. He's humble. And he's a different man. He's weeping. He's remorseful. I'd consider it then. It wouldn't be a guarantee, but if that happened, I'd consider. But I don't think it's going to happen, and I really do think that you're going to have to follow through with what the original thought was if you're going to see something really good happen with him. I would love to see him get the help. You know, one of the greatest places that a person can be who's hurtful to other people is in jail. I mean, really, if he comes close to you and you're threatened by him, it'd be great for him to go into jail where he can't hurt people outside of jail, and then he comes to grips with the consequences of his behavior. I hope it doesn't get to that point. But I really think that sometimes we do the easy thing and we cease to exist in the eye of the person that's abusive. We just matter even less when we back down on something that we have done. All right, I'm glad that you called, and I hope things will go well. I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back. I hope that's going to be a blessing to you. And I want to remind everybody that a gift, any amount, we will send you the Mediterranean Love Plan. My wife and I wrote that book and it's got 7 different secrets in it from the Mediterranean that will help you with your intimacy levels in your marriage. We would love to say thank you by sending that to you. I'm in a series on going deeper called Problems of Love, and we're doing a new video every day, 5 o'clock Eastern Time on the YouTube channel, Going Deeper. So please join me for that. You know, love really is a problem for most of us. We just don't get it right the first time. But we can learn, we can grow, and then we can be the right person for somebody we thought was all wrong. And usually we think they're all wrong, and then all of a sudden we make some changes, and, well, they're not so bad after all. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us, or if you need help, it's the same number. We'll be back right after this for more New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stoop. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Glad you're with us here today on New Life. Let's go back to one of our callers here. And how about we talk with, here's Joy from McKinney, Texas. And she listens on KWRD. Hi, Joy. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is for how to advise a friend. I have a friend, and he got divorced like 13 months ago. And apparently he and his wife were like living in separate bedrooms for like 5 years. But, I still kind of warned him about, not getting serious right away, take some time. But just come to find out, he didn't tell anybody, but he met somebody last May, and 6 months later, they didn't tell anybody, but they got married. And she lives like 800 miles away and has 6 children. And apparently her husband died a few years ago with suicide, and the kids are traumatized. And he has 2 teenagers himself, and they're 800 miles apart. I don't really know how to, help him and give him advice. I mean, he's in love, and this, that, and the other, but I just see a lot of tragedy, hurt with, how can he be a father to these 6 kids 800 miles away, or leave his kids and go live with, I know I'm just a friend, and it's not my issue, but, my heart goes out.
Well, have you asked him how he's going to do it?
Well, he said they're going to go back and forth. Because I asked, I said, oh, well, she going to come live here? And he said, no, we're just going to, go back and forth. And I'm like, but he was telling me how, the kids are really traumatized by their dad's death. and he just turned 60, and the youngest is like 6 and of hers. And I'm just, like I said, I as a friend, my heart goes out, and I know his kids, and so I'm close to them, and I talk to them quite a bit, and so.
Well, what do you think he ought to do? He's already married. What do you think he should do?
I don't have a clue. Like I said, I was kind of giving him advice about really being there for his 13-year-old, because he's saying, he can't connect to him. I didn't know he was already married, because I'm like, well, just reassure him you're dating now, and just let him know you're not going to leave him behind, and he's not going to be abandoned. You're there for him. And
well, let's talk to Alice. Let's see what she's thinking. Let's hear what Alice is having to wants to say about a guy like this and your role in his life. What you might be able to do, Alice.
Joy, you are a quality friend, and your friend is lucky to have you. This situation would tug at anybody's heartstrings. This is hard to wrap my head around what he's secretly gotten into. I'm curious about you, Joy. Do you often feel very responsible for other people's extreme decisions that they make, or do you feel responsible to go in and help and go in and clean up what other people do?
I do, and I just actually started trauma therapy at y'all's suggestion a few weeks ago. So I do.
Awesome.
I'm a rescuer, and I think he is too. I think that's why he married this woman, to rescue her and her kids. I'm just afraid he's going to leave his kids behind, and like I said, it's just a hurtful situation.
So I think this is one of the times that you're taking more on yourself than you even have the power or the influence over to do much about. Now, out of love and care, you're worried about them. And I do see one opening in which you can be a big help, and it's to his kids, his 2 children that you already have relationship with. This must be having a big impact on them. And Joy, you're the kind of person that you get the help, you follow through on our advice, you sound stable, and you've got a good head on your shoulders. And I think your stability in friendship to his children might be the best way that you can serve this family. It doesn't sound like he's open to your advice. He doesn't want to share what he's doing. He's done these things in secret. So the only thing I'd have you offer to him, to the father, your friend, is to ask him, what do you want from me? How can I be of assistance to you? Now, whatever he says, there's no guarantee that you'll do what he's asking, but I don't know that he's asking anything of you, but his kids need your stability.
Joy, are you married yourself?
No, I'm divorced.
Okay. So I just want you to be a joy to people, and I wonder if his wife would be joyful if he knew that he was consulting with a single woman from the town where he lived. You know what I'm talking about? You see how that might be a problem? And he might really start to like you better than her, and you're convenient. You might even start to develop feelings for him. So I would really be careful.
Okay.
Chris, you have any thoughts on that?
Okay.
My only last thought is in addition to what they're saying, if there is an opening, it is to be able to talk about how therapy and trauma therapy has helped you. Is that you can share your experience with
There
him,
you go.
but without having to be like, hey, you have to do this. But hey, I highly recommend it. I'm a rescuer, and here's what I've come to see, and here's how I'm getting better, which includes setting boundaries with you.
Yeah, I just think the boundaries are important, because a lot of times you get married to rescue somebody, and then you discover you need rescuing, and you're vulnerable. And so talking on the phone to him a couple of times is different than having dinner and talking to him every day and being a support. I just hate to see something horrible happen here. We'll be back after this.
I
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we were talking at the break there, and it is really important if somebody gets married and you're not, be careful. Be really careful. Speaking of being really careful, I don't know of anybody more careful than Larry. He is careful with our funds. He's careful with his time. He's careful with the mission of this ministry. Larry, what do you have for us today?
Well, Steve, we've gotten 2 of our 3 workshops done this month, and they've both been great. But we got another great one coming in Restore on the 27th, and I have a testimony. I hope it encourages those of you that love to hear life change, and that's what you support when you make a gift to New Life. So I'm asking you to really think about that, and I'm asking you ladies that have had some challenges with your husband's sexual integrity, consider coming to the workshop a week from Saturday. But here's what Leona said. My husband begged me to listen to New Life Live. I was insulted. After all, it was he that had the problem. But New Life was sending us CDs, and I got to listening to them. Then I started listening to New Life on my phone. I was learning all kinds of stuff, including why my husband couldn't lay the porn down and how it had such a tight grip on him. I was soaking in New Life like a sponge, learning stuff about life that I should have been taught as a child. The more I listened, the more I realized that I had problems too, and that if I wanted to save our marriage of 45 years, I had to get on board and take care of my issues as well. It was no longer his problem, it was our problem. I came to Restore to get answers and direction. I not only got my answers and direction, I gained a support group of sisters that loved God and loved me. I gained a whole lot of freedom and assurance that we, my husband and I, were going to be all right. It's going to take time and a lot of work and determination. With God's help and the tools that New Life offers, we truly do have a new life before us.
That is awesome. Go ahead, Larry.
I love that the way it started. I don't want to have anything to do with New Life. And then she listened to the CD, then she listened to the radio. And you guys are impressive here on radio.
Well, you remember when I met with that group and I addressed them, I felt so akin to them because I had been through what they'd been through. But I said to them, look, here's the bad news. Your husband or boyfriend was unfaithful. And now he's got a job to develop integrity and never do this again and win your heart back. But You have a job, and you have to do this. You have to forgive this guy. Because if you don't, you get bitter and angry. You carry that around with you. But he has given you a job that you didn't ask for, and hating that job doesn't help. Accepting that job, working through that anger and bitterness to where you can accept this guy as a broken man and then forgive. Well, that's how you find some freedom there. But it's not easy. But if he's got a problem, he's given you the problem too. And that's the sad news, but you have to do something about it.
Steve, I want to also clarify. She said that she had to get on board and take care of her issues too. She's not talking about issues that caused the husband to have his problems.
No.
But she had issues of heartbreak and betrayal and how to deal with the trauma and everything she went through. So, ladies, that's what we want you to come and do too.
Well, the beauty of Restore is that women come in feeling powerless. I can only feel better if my husband does his work. But you learn in Restore that no matter what your husband does, you have power over your own recovery. And you can come out fully healed, and even with ministry of how you then help other women, you can come out with such purpose and abundance no matter what your husband does.
Okay. If you have a desire for help, call us. If you could help us help somebody that has been given this horrific task of dealing with the hurt and the pain and needing to forgive, call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, please, and help us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. It's a great way to look at this. All right, let's go to Charlene from Colorado Springs, Colorado. How are you, Charlene? What's going on?
Oh, hey, Steve. How are you? I'm doing okay.
Good. Well, good. Great.
I'm a longtime listener, club New Life member, and I even sent you guys a prayer request last October when my mom was befelled by a stroke, and we all prayed for her.
Good.
And thank you very much for that.
Sure.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my mom passed away back in October. My sister is the executor of my mom's estate, and she's bipolar. And so my question is, a little bit, we had this phone call the other day that was just very contentious, and I think it was because of her bipolar. So my question is, what would be some appropriate boundaries for somebody who is bipolar?
Well, like, what do you mean? Is she... And she's in charge of the finances?
Well, yes. And so during this phone call, she was accusing me of taking control of my mom's healthcare decisions and not including her. She said that I messed up her bank accounts, I messed up her bill payments, I made all these problems for her. And it just, she really took me to task over what was just a very, very painful time in my life. My sister has a history of not showing up for things. I think a few programs ago I had heard you talk about somebody who has no legs. And that's my sister. She has no legs to participate in life fully.
Okay. So let's hear what let's hear what they have to say, so we don't run out of time here. And Chris, you want to get us started? What do you think?
Yeah, so what I would say is that it would be easy to dismiss or to place your sister's relational behavior into her bipolar condition. But the thing about that is, regardless of what the cause of her, the way that she shows up or doesn't show up, is harmful for you, correct?
Yes, that's true.
You want to be able to identify what is harmful and be clear about that, and that's where you set the boundaries. Like she's accusing you of some pretty damaging behaviors, right?
Oh yeah, correct.
And so Charlene, what we tend to do in those situations is that when we get mud on us, we want to throw mud right back at them.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Exactly. So,
yes, exactly.
But all we walk away with is everyone muddy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what you want to do is that when she throws mud at you, you want to have a shield that says, "Nope, that doesn't work for me." Nope, that's the case. If you want to have a discussion about things that you're concerned about, great. If you want to accuse me of something that I didn't do, I can't stay in this conversation.
Okay.
Also,
gotcha.
You see these things where somebody's bipolar, then they're in charge of the estate. Now they're bipolar with financial complications. They want control of everything, and then they can't do a good job while they're in control, and it's really, really frustrating. Alice, a thought?
Yeah.
So, Charlene, put that into action by letting your sister know, probably by text, the ways that you will receive what she has to say and where your limits are. So if you raise your voice at me, if you start yelling, if you bring up the accusations again in the way you did before, then I'll need to hang up and we can try talking again a different time. But I can't stay in conversation when these things happen. It's not productive for either one of us. And share your decision, Charlene, and your determination with someone else who can be a support to you and help hold you accountable, because it's so difficult to follow through on boundaries in the heat of a conversation like that with your sister.
So I'm going to send you a little book, Understanding and Loving a Person with Bipolar, and I hope that that's going to be helpful to you. And it's so sad, what happens in these relationships when somebody dies and they leave some finances for somebody to manage. And, man, it's rough on everybody. So I hope that you'll get some insight here and be able to support her, confront her when necessary, but that somehow there's some kind of better outcome here. All right, how about we talk with Christine from Albany, New York. Hi, Christine, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thanks so much for taking my call and for your ministry.
Thank you.
I'm a first-time caller, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay.
I was calling because at the beginning of the first hour today, Alice mentioned the importance of having a community of people when a person's healing from anxiety and depression, and that there were resources for people who wanted to get involved in that. And I'm an introvert myself, and I always struggle with getting established in a community, so I'm just calling to see what those resources were that she mentioned.
All right. Well, we're going to help you with that as soon as we come back from this break. Glad that you called us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, we're there. People woke up this morning and said, I want to help some people. I want to transform some lives. I want to save some people from all this pain. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, February 6th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, really hoping and praying that whatever you're struggling with, you'll give us an opportunity to help you with it at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We're talking to Christine about some options for healing community, and she believes that Alice has the answer for her. Alice, what do you think?
Christine, I am thrilled that you're taking action because you may be an introvert, but you are already in recovery with just making this first call, girl. So bravo. There are a couple ways we can help with this. We have a great network of counselors, and we can find a therapist in your area if you want to start individual therapy. We also have groups. We have our New Life recovery groups. And, New York is a great place for this because we can connect you either with a therapist or with a group right there in your area.
Yeah, we do it all the time. So hold on, and we'll do that. But, let's just say all the phones went down and you can't get through out of your state. What would you do? I like to have people call the biggest church in town. Doesn't mean it's always going to work, but a lot of times they have groups that others don't have. And you ask them, what do you have that's a healing community that I can be a part of? And that could be the beginning. Let me send you a restoration Bible because that'll be a great tool for you to use in that healing process.
Steve, one of the other things that we have, obviously, is the Emotional Freedom Workshop. And so, obviously, that's a month out from right now, and we don't want people to wait too long to get into the help that they need. But as you're seeking help, you come to the workshop, and it doesn't necessarily stop there. We have groups that continue on post-workshop.
That's right.
And so, know that we're offering those resources right here.
I'm a huge fan of those groups. So many people in them. I lead a couple different groups. They say that became their family. That was the only healthy family that they had ever experienced. And those groups stay together for years, sometimes without end, because God has placed the lonely in a family.
Sometimes we need a second family to help us heal from the first one that we had, and that can really be the way to do it. Glad that you called, and I'll send you the Restoration Bible. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. You know what? We've got time for one more caller. And how about we go to Sherry from Thornton, Colorado. Sherry, we don't have a lot of time, but I did want to get to your call. How you doing? And how can we help?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for taking my call. It's actually a quick question. I've been a breast cancer patient for 3 years. And the last couple of years, it's been metastasized to my liver and incrementally been getting worse over the last 2 years. And I have a father who is an Alzheimer's patient, and he is in a care facility. And I have not yet told him what's going on. And one of my family members kind of thinks maybe it's time. And wondering what your thoughts are on that. My concern has been that he might not remember anyway, or he might dwell on it.
Okay. What do you think, Chris?
How far advanced is his Alzheimer's?
It's pretty far advanced. He really doesn't remember one end of a conversation to the end of it.
Yeah.
And,
so I honestly don't think right now it's too much about your dad. I want to honor that relationship. I want to honor but his ability to remember, his ability to be present. So Sherry, I would encourage you, this is just my perspective on this, is like, what would you want him to know? Knowing that his ability to remember it or withhold it is very limited. But again, it's not about him being able to hear it, receive it, or remember it. It's about you just being able to share with him what's on your heart.
What about if I got to the point where I only had a short time left to live?
Well, what would you want to do?
Sorry, I'm outside. I just, that's where I'm confused, because I know in my heart it hasn't been the right thing so far, but going forward.
Well, here's my encouragement here, is that again, whatever he's able to receive or not, I think the important thing for us, especially in these very significant relationships, is we don't want to leave things unsaid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. What is inside of you that, again, whether he can hear it or not, that you need to just let him know for your sake?
Sherry, I want to lean in and very gently challenge you, because while you're in such a difficult position and you're just trying to love your dad well, you're going through your own illness. I can't even imagine everything you're going through. But any good father would want to know what his child is going through, even though your dad does not have the capacity that he used to have. I actually think it's a gift to give him the information. So that if he's a good dad, he loves you, even though his capacity is diminished. And you might be trying too much to control the outcome of what's happening to you, and I don't think that that's yours to control.
The other thing is, you don't know what, if you did pass, you don't know what might happen with him, and you might need to, by you telling him what happened, it would clear up some kind of confusion within him as to where did that person go, even if he doesn't know or remember that you're the daughter. I just don't. I would probably feel better telling than not telling.
Okay.
But that's up to you.
Well, I appreciate all of that insight. Yes, I appreciate that very much.
But
okay. Well, you
again,
have a great day. Oh.
Yeah, it's not so much about protecting your father. I think that's what Chris is saying here, and I think that's really wise. It's really about what is the best thing for you, and I would just do that. So thank you for calling us, and let me send you a little copy of Healing is a Choice, and I hope that'll be a blessing to you. Speaking of blessing, we are blessed by so many folks that support this ministry, that love what we're doing here. What are we doing? We're trying to transform people's lives. We're asking God to use us, and we're using God's truth and redemptive relationship to hopefully usher in a healing that maybe some people thought would be absolutely impossible. And that healing isn't just something that happens and then we're done, but there's a process of growth and sanctification that needs to take place over time, and so we want to be right alongside you as you do that. And so if you call us, we're going to help you. If you can support us, we're going to help more people. We can't do it without you. We never have. And so please, if God is leading you to support this ministry, please do. Some great resources. Chris and I, we are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop, and there's this Emotional Freedom Workbook. And it really has helped people over years and years to find that way out, to find that key that has kept them from the freedom that they're looking for. And so get a copy of that and come join us for Emotional Freedom. Wouldn't it be sad if you were a workshop away from experiencing some freedom that you've never felt before, but you didn't go? And so call us and let us just at least talk to you about it. I think it would really be worth your time to come hang out with us on a Saturday and just talk about those emotions. My thanks to you, Dr. Alice Benton. Always appreciate you being here. Chris Williams, thank you. Thanks to all of you who listen, watch, pray, support us. We need you. We're grateful for you, and hope we get to be with you again right here next time on New Life Live. God bless you, and have a very, very wonderful weekend.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.